Alright, welcome back to people. On this video, I'm titling it The History of iPhones. Now, on the previous video, we talked about things like the history of Google. Then we talked about the history of the computer. Now I want to share a little bit of information about the history of the iPhone. Something that you may know a little bit about, and you probably have one, or an Android. One of the two, right? Because those are some of the main options that you have available. Now, today, you can do things with your phone that 20 or 30 years ago couldn't even be believed or couldn't be processed as reality, right? Now, you can video, you can email, you can Instagram, you can tweet, you can do all types of things. And that has increased a lot of things, and that has decreased a lot of things. In other words, it has helped, but it's also hurt, right? Now, from a relationship perspective, I know I've heard stories where a lot of people have gotten in trouble because of their iPhone, right? Because a lot of people don't want you going through their phone, right? And I'm not really against that. If you're in a relationship, if you have a wife, or you have a mate, somebody that you care about, but some people are totally against that. They're totally against going through their phone. Now, does that indicate that they have something to hide? To me, it does. I mean, I understand you want privacy. I understand you want this or that. But if it's your mate, if it's, this is like your other half, unless you're just that you're not really into that, that should be okay. But, to each his own, right? That's where we live in. So I'm going to leave that there. So starting with the history of the iPhones, on January 9th of 2007, Steve Jobs announced iPhone at the Macworld convention, receiving substantial media attention. Jobs announced that the first iPhone would be released later that year. Now, on June the 29th, 2007, Apple released version 7.3 of iTunes to coincide with the release of the iPhone. What was the first ever iPhone? The iPhone is the first smartphone model designed and marketed by Apple Incorporation, announced on January 9th of 2007, after years of rumors and speculations. Now, this first generation iPhone was introduced in the United States on June 29th of 2007. So we're looking at 2007. This is 2018. So we've almost gone full circle when you're talking about making the transition from not having a phone that can do all those capabilities to a phone that can do so many things. The phone can do so many things that you never use it for. Techniques and tools and systems incorporated to that thing that you probably never even use. You probably use it for 3 or 4 functions: calling, texting, maybe taking pictures. What else? Instagram, Facebook, those type of things like that. Some people gamble with them. Some people, play games. But for the most part, you hadn't really even touched the surface of the things that iPhone can do. All right, and each year it gets better. Each time they bring out a new phone, it gets more capable, right? So that's the world we're living in, ladies and gentlemen. We have to do that. We have to understand that. Now, how big was the first iPhone? Any idea? Since the first iPhone, the handset screen size has changed ever so slowly. Apple kept its devices at 3.5 inches until the iPhone 5, which boasted a 4-inch screen. Tech Radar reported that. Now, and it wasn't until the iPhone 6 that Apple expanded the screen size of its smartphones even more with a 4.7 inch and a 5.5 inch model. Who created the iPhone? Any idea? Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone on June 1st, 2007, and it revolutionized the mobile industry. Nearly a decade later, Nancy Pelosi, you know that name? Minority Leader of the United States House of Representatives, claimed that the federal government invented the iPhone and not tech giant Apple or its former CEO, Steve Jobs. I didn't know that. I can say that a lot, right? But I know it now, right? Okay, continuing on. When did the first cell phone come out? The first cell phone came out April 3rd of 1973. The world's first mobile phone call was made on April the 3rd, 1973, when Martin Cooper, a senior engineer at Motorola, called a rival telecommunication company and informed them he was speaking via a mobile phone. Let's see, that's 73, 83, 93, 03. That's about 35 years ago, right? Interesting. When did cell phones start taking pictures? I told you could do all that with those wait a minute, you knew? So when did cell phones start taking pictures? Since you knew. In 2002, the first phones with built-in cameras became publicly available, including the Nokia 7650 and the Sanyo SPC 5300. The Nokia phone boasted a large 176 by 208 pixel color display, according to a media release at the time. So, with all that, how much money was the first phone, the first iPhone? Any idea? How much do iPhones cost today? I know when I get ready to upgrade phones, it just blows my mind that someone would pay $700 or $800 or $1,000 for a phone. My mind is blown with that, because that's a lot of money for something that you can break, lose, get wet, the water, all that type of thing that has, and you carry it everywhere you go. It's like an extension of you, right? It becomes like an extension, especially if you're electronical. If you like to use it for a lot of other things rather than just taking pictures and texting, right? So the iPhone debuted at $499 for the 4 gigabyte and $599 for the 8 gigabyte model on contract. Those prices weren't unheard of at the time. Early Motorola RAZR flip phones were incredibly expensive as well, but it meant Apple couldn't penetrate the mainstream market. When did cell phones become common? Enabling technology for mobile phones was first developed in the 1940s, but it was not until the mid-1980s that they became widely available. By 2011, it was estimated that in the United Kingdom that more calls were made using mobile phones than wired devices. Okay, you remember the flip phone? When did the first flip phone come out? The first Motorola model to support the clamshell design was the Micro TAC, TAC, created in 1989. Although General Telephone and Electronics, or GTE, held the trademark from the 1970s for its flip phone, one of the first small handheld electronic phones, until 1993. And finally, what year did cell phones come out to the public? It would take a decade before Motorola Dynatec finally reached consumers' hands. On September 21st, 1983, Motorola made history when the FCC approved the 8000X, the world's first commercial portable cell phone. So again, that was 1983, September of 1983. Motorola, the first phone. Now, those little statistics may seem unimportant to you, but the person sitting beside you or watching this video also, some of that really made sense and they really wanted to hear that. And that's the perspective you'll have to take when you start to create your videos, because everything is not going to be for everybody. But had I not created these videos, you wouldn't have been able to critique these videos. Had I not created these videos, I wouldn't be getting better at doing what I do, right? Because these are processes. This is something that I do continually. So anything that you decide to do continually, you're going to get better at. You're going to become more comfortable with. And that's exactly what you need to get from these videos. You need to understand that the same thing that I'm doing, you can do. It's not rocket science. You don't have to have an IQ of 130 or anything like that. All that's required is that you put in the time. You understand the process, put in the time, structure things the way you want them structured. Make them work for you. Let me give you a quick example. Besides creating these videos, 200 videos in 365 days, you know, I'm also doing 5 days in the gym. Now, I'm a trainer, so before these videos, I was doing 3 days a week in the gym. No problem. Loved it. Maintained my health and strength and everything. But to add 2 more days to that changes the whole dynamic of what I'm doing. Simply because I have to prepare and position myself to be able to do those 5 days per week. In doing that, there are things that I have to adjust or put in place that I wouldn't have had to do normally. One of those things is my music playlist. When I work out, I'm working out to a certain music, right? To a certain genre of music that I like to listen to while working out. So as I'm working out, at 365 days in a year, if I'm going to do that the entire year, I'm going to change music somewhere along the process, right? During that process, my playlist is going to change. So that's something that I have to bring into what music do I want to listen to. I listen to that for 30 days. Do I want to listen to that for another 30 days, or do I want to add something different, right? Because something different brings different. Remember that. When you do something different, it's going to bring a different result because you're not doing that. So anything that you incorporate or you add will change the whole end result. You'll grow from that. So you'll be able to identify what music you like and what music resonates better with you as you work out. Or you'll be able to, not just working out. Let's say you're not working out. Let's say you're doing something else, right? Let's say you have to walk to school. If you have to walk to school and you have to walk a mile to school every day, 5 days a week, you're probably going to be listening to music. What playlist of music do you want to incorporate for you based on what you like, right? See, all these little nuances are what make you who you are, but it's individualized. It makes you unique, because I wouldn't listen to the music you listen to probably, and you probably wouldn't listen to the music I listen to. I wouldn't work out the way you work out, and you probably wouldn't work out the way I work out, right? It's individual. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes me who I am and makes you who you are. It's a beautiful thing, don't you think? All right, don't forget, my company is Speak with Larry. My website is speakwithlarry.com, and my blog site, speakwithlarry.blog. I've got some people, a new team of people working on my blog right now, and it's going to be introduced. I'm going to bring it out. My landing pages, my opt-in pages, all that's going to be revised as of this month. So stay tuned. Go to those places and check out some of the videos, some of the content that I'm creating here and from other places. And you know, let's learn something together. I'll learn something about you, and you'll learn something about me. How about that? All right, I'll see you on the next video.